In the picturesque coastal town of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, a horrifying crime shattered the peace of a close-knit community. On February 16, 2022, Jared Bridegan, a 33-year-old father of four and a Microsoft executive, was gunned down in an ambush. What appeared to be an ordinary drive home with his 2-year-old daughter became a meticulously planned and heinous act of violence. This is the story of Jared Bridegan's tragic death, the family he left behind, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Jacksonville Beach, known for its sandy shores and suburban charm, is a community where families thrive. Its streets are lined with palm trees, and the gentle ocean breeze creates a serene atmosphere. This idyllic setting, however, was disrupted on the dark night of Jared's murder. Sanctuary Boulevard, a typically quiet road surrounded by trees, became the backdrop for a crime so chilling it left the entire town reeling. Jared Bridegan was more than a skilled professional. He was a loving father, husband, and friend. A senior design manager at Microsoft, Jared was respected for his innovation and problem-solving abilities. At home, his 4 children were his greatest joy. Friends described him as a hands-on dad who prioritized family activities, from playing games to teaching life lessons. Jared's family life was complicated by a contentious divorce from his ex-wife, Shanna Gardner Fernandez, the mother of his twin 10-year-olds. Their relationship, which began with the optimism of a shared future, unraveled under the weight of personal and financial tensions. Jared and Shanna's marriage had been marked by growing mistrust, with allegations of controlling behavior on both sides. Court records and testimonies highlighted disputes over parenting styles, finances, and even the use of surveillance devices within the home. These tensions culminated in a bitter divorce, with Shanna relocating to Washington while Jared stayed in Florida to remain close to his children. Jared remained unwavering in his commitment to his role as a father. His twin children were his pride and joy, and he worked tirelessly to ensure they felt secure and loved. Jared's ability to compartmentalize his personal struggles was a testament to his dedication. Even as he juggled the complexities of co-parenting, he poured his energy into fostering a sense of normalcy for his kids. From school events to shared hobbies, Jared made it his mission to be a constant presence in their lives. This commitment extended to his 2 younger daughters with his second wife, Jared Bridegan. Kirsten described Jared as a partner who prioritized family above all else, balancing his demanding career at Microsoft with the responsibilities of fatherhood. Together, they worked to create a warm and supportive home where all 4 children felt equally valued. Kirsten often shared how Jared would go out of his way to bridge the emotional gap caused by the divorce, ensuring his twins and younger daughters bonded as siblings despite the challenges of a blended family. On the evening of February 16th, Jared had dinner with his twin children and their younger half-sister before dropping the twins off at Shanna's home. On his way home, Jared was driving along Sanctuary Boulevard, a quiet road bordered by dense foliage. His 2-year-old daughter sat in her car seat, dozing off as Jared navigated the dark stretch of road. Suddenly, Jared encountered a tire deliberately placed in the middle of the road. Unaware of the danger ahead, he stopped his vehicle and stepped out to move the obstruction. As he approached the tire, an assailant emerged from the shadows and opened fire. Jared was shot multiple times in what investigators later described as a cold-blooded and targeted ambush. The calculated nature of the attack was immediately evident. Nothing was stolen, and the assailant fled into the darkness, leaving Jared to die at the scene. His 2-year-old daughter, still strapped in her car seat, witnessed the horrifying event but was unharmed physically. The Jacksonville Beach Police Department launched a thorough and relentless investigation into the ambush murder of Jared Bridegan. It was clear to detectives that this was no random act of violence. The meticulously staged crime scene, where a tire was deliberately placed to block Jared's vehicle, hinted at a calculated plan designed to lure him out of his SUV. This detail, coupled with the lack of robbery or any other apparent motive, pointed investigators toward a chilling conclusion. Jared had been targeted. The turning point in the investigation came when surveillance footage revealed a blue Ford F-150 near the scene on the night of the murder. This vehicle quickly became a focal point for detectives. After weeks of painstaking analysis and interviews, the truck was traced to Henry Tenen, a 61-year-old man with a lengthy criminal history. Tenen had prior convictions for fraud, theft, and other offenses, marking him as someone familiar with operating on the fringes of the law. Yet it was his connection to Mario Fernandez Saldana, the husband of Jared's ex-wife, that raised alarm bells. Investigators uncovered that Tenon had once rented a property owned by Fernandez, a connection that initially seemed coincidental. However, further probing revealed a much darker link. Tenon wasn't just an incidental figure, he was deeply embedded in a conspiracy tied to Jared's contentious divorce and ongoing custody battle with Shana Gardner Fernandez. As detectives dug deeper, they discovered damning financial evidence. 3 checks totaling $10,000 were deposited into Tenon's bank account shortly after the murder. Each check bore the signature of Fernandez, leaving little doubt about the financial backing behind the crime. The investigation took a dramatic turn when phone records exposed a flurry of communication between Tenon and Fernandez in the weeks leading up to the murder. These calls, often late at night, painted a picture of meticulous planning. Prosecutors would later allege that Fernandez played a pivotal role in orchestrating the murder, providing not only financial support but also strategic guidance. Tenon's movements on the day of the crime further corroborated his involvement. Cell tower data placed him at the scene during the time of the ambush. Detectives described Fernandez's involvement as the mastermind behind the plot. His relationship with Jared's ex-wife, Shana, added another layer of complexity. Fernandez's motive, prosecutors suggested, stemmed from his desire to eliminate Jared, whom he viewed as an obstacle to a stable life with Shana and her children. The murder was not just an act of violence. As the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place, the investigation grew even more harrowing. Detectives discovered that Fernandez had recruited Tenon specifically for this purpose, exploiting his financial desperation and criminal background. Tenon, in turn, agreed to carry out the plan in exchange for the promise of payment. This chilling partnership revealed the depths to which Fernandez and his accomplices were willing to sink. The mounting evidence painted a vivid and damning picture of premeditation and conspiracy, fueling the resolve of investigators to ensure that all involved were brought to justice. Jared's widow, Kirsten, and his brother Adam publicly demanded answers. Kirsten described the impact of the crime on her family. "Every day we wake up and Jared isn't here. His car doesn't pull into the driveway. This is real, and the pain doesn't stop." The family's grief was compounded by the lingering questions surrounding the motive and those involved. In January 2023, police made a significant breakthrough in the case, arresting Henry Tenon, a 61-year-old with a troubled past, on charges of conspiracy to commit murder, second-degree murder, and accessory after the fact to a capital felony.
She is scared and not okay. The person was caught on camera on February 24th, a week after Jared was shot to death. Kirsten gave this security footage to News 4 Jax. In the footage, a bright, blurry figure can be seen moving quickly from the corner of the garage across the yard and away from the house. Again, the footage was captured on February 24th, days after Bridegan's murder. The 33-year-old father of 4 was shot multiple times near Sanctuary Boulevard near JTB, just 2 miles from his ex-wife's home. His 2-year-old daughter was in the SUV when he was shot but wasn't hurt. This is video from February 16th, the night of Jared Bridegan's murder. Police say it was a targeted attack. So far, no arrests have been made. Jacksonville Beach police are looking for a 2004 to 2008 blue Ford F-150, which they think may be connected to the murder. Police say a tire left in the road prompting Jared to stop is a key piece of the puzzle. Now, if you have any information at all, call
For months, investigators had painstakingly built their case, relying on phone records, financial transactions, and forensic evidence to connect Tenon to the crime. When confronted with the overwhelming evidence, Tenon agreed to cooperate, striking a plea deal that would change the trajectory of the investigation. Tenon's confession was both shocking and revealing. He admitted to being the triggerman, the one who pulled the trigger during the ambush that ended Jared Bridegan's life. However, his admission came with an even darker revelation. The murder was far from a random act of violence. It was part of a meticulously orchestrated conspiracy masterminded by Mario Fernandez Saldana, the second husband of Jared's ex-wife, Shana Gardner Fernandez. In exchange for a reduced sentence, Tenon laid bare the details of the plan. He described how Fernandez had recruited him, offering money and instructions to carry out the killing. The deal included detailed preparations, selecting the location for the ambush, staging the tire as a trap to stop Jared's vehicle, and ensuring that there were no traces left behind. Fernandez had carefully calculated every step, leaving nothing to chance. Tenon's cooperation marked a turning point in the case, allowing investigators to focus on bringing Fernandez and others involved to justice. His plea deal, which reduced his sentence to 15 years in prison, was controversial but necessary to unravel the broader conspiracy. Prosecutors emphasized that Tenon's testimony was invaluable in exposing the full scope of the plot, ensuring that no one involved would escape accountability. In March 2023, Fernandez was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation to commit a capital felony. As investigators delved deeper, they identified Shauna Gardner Fernandez as a key conspirator. In August 2023, she was indicted on charges of first-degree murder. Prosecutors alleged that her contentious relationship with Jared and ongoing custody disputes provided the motive. Both Shauna Gardner Fernandez and Mario Fernandez Saldana have pleaded not guilty to all charges. Prosecutors, however, are pursuing the death penalty against both, citing the premeditated and ruthless nature of the crime. The trial, expected to be a high-profile case, has drawn widespread attention. Legal experts have highlighted the challenges of proving Shauna's involvement beyond reasonable doubt, given the layers of conspiracy and her physical absence from the scene. Nevertheless, the evidence, including financial transactions, phone records, and testimony from Tenon, is expected to play a pivotal role in the prosecution's case. Their trial is expected to take place in 2025. For Jared's family, the upcoming trials represent a chance to achieve closure and ensure that justice is served. His widow, Jared Bridegan, has been a vocal advocate for accountability, attending every hearing and speaking out about the devastating impact of Jared's murder. "We want the world to know who Jared was," Kirsten said. "He was a loving father, a devoted husband, and a kind soul who didn't deserve this. We will not stop until justice is fully served." Jared Bridegan's murder is a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of unresolved conflicts and unchecked hatred. His death has left an irreplaceable void in the lives of his family, especially his children. Despite their pain, Jared's loved ones have channeled their grief into advocacy, raising awareness about domestic disputes and the importance of addressing red flags early.